Welcome back to the Sidemen, guys. Sam and Rosie here with a deck profile for you. I know, again, it's been a while since my last video. You can tell that my voice is still no good. I don't know what's going on with it, but it's just not coming back. Hopefully it will be back soon. But I'm going to keep pumping these out for you, even though I can't talk. This one today is my Android 13 Battle Evolution Booster / Set 13 deck profile. It's the one I used in the recent Best in One battle. You can check it out down below. It's just a lot of fun. It's definitely not a meta deck by any standard, but it's a lot of fun to play, and I'm sure that you guys can tweak it even more to get more out of it. It definitely has won some games because people don't know what's going on. It's a lot of fun in that respect as well. So enjoy, comment down below what you think. Let me know what you would put in and what you would change. Always love to see your comments and to chat to you about it. So enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Cheers. Alrighty, guys. So we got this Android 13 deck. I know a lot of you have been asking me for a deck profile for this. There is a Best of One battle link in the description if you want to watch that. This is just a fun deck. It's definitely not top tier competitive or anything, but this is something you can go to locals with and really surprise some people. No one really plays this leader at all, and it's kind of a mix between this with the Battle Evolution stuff, as well as some old Android 13 stuff and the new Android stuff from BT13. So we'll just have a look at the leader first of all. Apologies. This is Android 13, 14, and 15. This guy has on attack auto that you can choose one green or yellow Android in your hand and drop it to draw 2 cards. Really nice to get your Android 14 and 15 in the drop for your Awaken, and also just nice filtering. You really see a lot of your deck in this with this leader. You know, the hand size isn't amazing because you're still only really plussing 1, but it is a lot of fun being able to drop and draw 2, see a lot of your deck. He has a really annoying Awaken condition. That's the reason probably people don't play him. Your life is at 5 or less, and you have an Android 14 and an Android 15 card, so you have to have one of each in the drop area to be able to Awaken. There's no way to Awaken without those in the drop area, so you really have trouble against things like Meki Kabura, although I haven't had any big issues. Really, because you do drop cards really quickly for a rival and for this. We'll go into those soon. So once you Awaken, you untap 1, draw 1. Then when you attack, you draw 1 card. You have an auto that when one of your opponent's rest mode battle cards is placed in the drop area by skill or KO'd, they drop a card, so it's just an extra bonus. You don't really do much hand distraction in this version of, or my version of this deck, but you know, when you're going for game, it does help. Then you have an activate battle once per turn. Send 1 Android 14 and 1 Android 15 card from your drop to your warp to gain 5k on this card or one of your androids for the battle. Really nice way of just reusing that drop that you're dropping. I have got out of people going for game with that skill. All right, let's look at the deck now. Apologies, I'm getting bitten by Rosie at the moment. As you can see, this is Rosie here, and the real Rosie, is biting me. So I run a 2-2 split of multicolor lands. This is interesting. I haven't decided if I like it that much, but it has worked really well in so far. I just kind of might move more into these ones. But what you want to do is you want to mulligan for this card, charge a yellow turn 1, and then turn 2, I've never had a game where I don't have a green and a yellow in the drop on turn 2. I mean, that's a lie. I have had those games, but it's not very common. And even worst case, you can charge another yellow and charge this on turn 3. But that, because of the leader's skill and because of this card's skill that I'll get to soon, you nearly always have a blue and a green and a yellow. So you charge that, and then turn 3, you go into one of these. It's just hard because it's only 2 and 2. You just don't want to run too many multicolor cards in this deck because it makes it hard to obviously combo out of attacks and go for game. What I do run here, what I really love, this card kind of made me want to play this deck. This card has an activate main from hand. You place it and 1 Android 15 in your drop area from your hand. You take up to 2 life and draw 1 card, then your opponent drops a card. So usually I'll be doing this on turn 1. If I'm going first, I'll take myself down to 6, depending on what deck I'm up against. Drop this guy, take 2 from life, obviously, and draw a card. And then my opponent drops a card, which is so strong on turn 1. If you're going first, your opponent starts the game with 5 cards in hand. Very, very good. And there's 2 options for dropping. With that card, there's this guy here, another Android 4, or this is an Android 14 and 15. Really good to have in the drop because it fills the requirements of both if you need that. So you get a 14 and a 15. This card also has an activate main, which allows you to place it in the drop area from your hand and draw a card. Essentially a Dragon Ball. It's just a free filter, really cutting the deck size down by 4 pretty much. Plus, it has good utilities in this, in your leader skill, and in some other skills as well. Really, really good card. I love it. Have that at 4. And then we have this guy at 4 as well, which is the new Android 14 and 15 from the Battle Evolution Booster. This is a 1-cost 5k combo, but if your leader card is yellow or an Android, then it becomes a 0-cost 5k, which means that you can use it for a rival. It also fills the gap for having an Android 14 and 15. A lot of the time, if I go first and I'm against something aggressive, I'll drop this and then go down to 6. And that means I can take the first hit off their leader and awaken on their turn, on their first turn, getting my leader to 15k. Sometimes if I'm doing that, I'll charge a multicolor in rest, awaken, and then be able to arrival on their turn straight away. Really good. So that's the Android 14s and 15s. The Unison, and this is one of the other reasons I really wanted to play this deck, because this Unison is it's probably one of yellow's best Unison, if not the best yellow Unison. But everybody runs this as a tech in most decks, as the secondary Unison, not the main Unison. This is meant for this Android deck. This works so well with some of the new Android cards. It's amazing. Obviously, I'm not going to go through this Unison too in depth, but what it does is it has an activate main to plus a marker if you switch this card or one of your battle cards to rest mode. So that's not a marker skill, which means you can also activate a -1 or -3 on the same turn. Now, the thing about this was it was kind of a neg, which, because it's a strong Unison, made sense, because if you play this, you kind of have to rest this or rest one of your other cards to gain it a marker that turn, and then probably minus so your opponent can't attack with battle cards higher than their energy. But in this deck, you have a bunch of different options that activate when they switch to rest mode. This card, for example, is a 1-drop Android 20. When you play him, you draw a card. And also, when he's switched to rest mode, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 5 or less and negate its skills. That also happens on play. So what you want to do is play this guy, negate a card's skills, draw a card. And then on your next turn, you can rest mode him with this, and he negates a card's skills again. You can keep reusing that. Very nice. I only run one of those because I'm not... it's only kind of good against blockers, really, or other things on your opponent's turn, on your turn that can affect you. Now, this is the main threat that you use this Vegeta to enable. I only run it at 3 because, again, you go through your deck so easily. This guy, when he's played, nothing happens. He's just a 4K, so he can feel a bit neg, but... Usually I want to play this on turn 1. My opponent doesn't get rid of it most of the time. And then on turn 2, play the Vegeta. Vegeta rest modes this guy. When he's rest moded by one of your yellow card skills, he gets switched to active mode again and gains 11k. So he becomes a 15k attacker, which means you're getting 0 neg from this Vegeta skill. Then if you're able to get 2 of these on, or this guy and one of your other androids on the field, you can tap 1, switch one of your other androids to rest mode. So if you have 2, you tap 1 on this guy, he switches this one, that one's skill goes off to restand, becoming a 15k, and then you go through your deck to play an android with an energy cost of 3, a skillless android with an energy cost of 3 or less. We have Android 18 here. I run 3 of them. Again, I've never had an issue with that. There's also an Android 17 if you prefer, but I like the waifu. So really, really cool, just tech. And I know if you check the gameplay out in the description, you'll see what I mean. Once you get 2 of these out, it starts becoming a real problem because they actually stay as a 15k until the end of your opponent's next turn, which means on their turn it's a 15k. If they want to attack into it, they have to attack with a 15k battle card. It kind of feels bad. So that's really amazing. All utilizing that Vegeta skill. And one more card that we utilize the Vegeta skill with is Android 16 Mechanical Partner. This guy is a 1-drop. When you play him, he searches for an android with an energy cost, a yellow android with an energy cost of 3 or less, or a Vegeta, or a 2-cost Unison. So you can search out this, you can search out a few cards. Then when he's played, he also gains blocker. So what you do is you play this again on turn 1. On your opponent's turn, you probably don't block with him, but you can. Otherwise, when he's rest moded with Vegeta, he gets switched back to active mode and gains blocker again. So he just becomes a real utility again with that Vegeta Unison. And I just loved those interactions. That's why I wanted to play this so much. Now we have a few different cards to enable arrival. We have Android 18 Perfection's Prey. As I was saying, this deck hand size isn't that crazy. Even though you do draw a lot, you are putting a lot of cards in the drop area as well. So this helps you out because if you have 5 or less cards in hand, it becomes a 0-cost 10k. Also enabling arrival of the Broly All Out Assault. This one is an older one. It's 1 green, 1 yellow. When you play this card or when this card is switched to active mode, we don't do that in this by skill. Choose 1 battle card with energy cost greater than or equal to your opponent's current energy and KO it. So it's really good when they go in with a big card to try and go for game and you KO it. Or you can draw a card and switch one of your opponent's cards to rest mode. So you can switch the energy, leader, unison, whatever you like. Run 2 of those. I run 3 of the Android 13 Mission Begins. You want to get this guy out pretty early against decks that run a lot of, go wide, I should say. Because this guy forces your opponent to KO 2 of their battle cards at the start of every turn. It doesn't affect battle cards with barrier, obviously. It's just an arrival, green, yellow. It's a double striker, 1 energy, very, very strong. And then if he's in your drop area, which happens a lot because of your leader skill, you can send him from the drop area to the warp and pay 1 to KO a battle card with energy cost of 3 or less. Now remember, once you're awakened, every time you're KOing a rest mode battle card, once per turn that is, your opponent has to drop a card. So it's very strong. The rest of the deck is pretty standard, running 3 of Vegeta Pride Full Transformation as the counterplay. Our super combo split is 2 Dr. Gero, Progenitor of Terra. This guy is in here mainly for arrival, but also if you need to get an Android 14 and Android 15 in the drop to awaken and you haven't seen one, you can use that. Counter Blast Sun Gohan is the secondary. We can't run the new super combos because our energy is not always mono green, obviously, mono yellow, obviously. Now we have the win cons in the deck. Android 17 and Android 18, Bringers of the Apocalypse, is our first win con. I'm not sure about this card yet, but it is fun to play. I feel like the other options are better. This guy becomes a 4-cost when you or your opponent have a skillless battle card in play. So that's either this Android 18, if your opponent's playing a skillless deck, that, or where is he? The one of Android 20 makes your opponent's card skillless, so you can reduce the cost. So it becomes a 4-cost triple strike with deflect. When he's played, you can choose any number of your and your opponent's battle cards and unison cards, ignoring barrier, and negate their skills until the end of your opponent's next turn. Very, very, very strong. You know, it stops a lot of threats in this game. You know, it stops, if you get this out, King Piccolo's blockers and everything are all nothing. Very, very cool. Now, the reason you can choose to negate your own card skills is because you can place this card in its owner's drop area and choose 2 skillless battle cards with energy cost of 4 or less and switch them to active mode, 2 of yours. So you could get this big guy out, attack, you know, go for game, have this guy out, and then put him in the drop, restand. He's still a 30k, but he's obviously skillless. But I don't play this as often as I play Android 13. Now, this guy is kind of overlooked. He was from set 9. He didn't get played very much because Android 13 still wasn't good, but Double Strike Successor for 2 energy at 7, you get 7 very easily in this deck, be it with a Broly and a 1-drop, or you know, a lot of different combinations. It's very easy to get 7. When you play, you can activate main and choose 3 Android cards in your drop area and put them at the bottom of your deck in any order. That means super combos. That means, you know, your arrival stuff. It means this if you need to get it back in. A lot of cards that you can put back in, which is really nice. And you get to choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO it, activating your leader skill, making them drop a card, and then your opponent chooses 2 cards in the hand and place in the drop area. So you're taking them down 3 cards with this skill, and then it's a double strike. It's very, very good. I really like this card. Now, the next card, obviously, Cell Zeno. I don't want to get hate saying, you know, no one can play this deck because it's Cell Zeno. I've won with this, like, I could count it on one hand how many times I've won with this card. I usually use Android 13 or just spamming the board, and my opponent can't keep up with how many attacks, because you're talking about 15Ks. These guys enabling 15Ks, 30Ks very easily. I don't actually play this that often. So you can play it without this. You can play it with a different SCR, no worries. But Cell Zeno is amazing. And then finally, I run 2 Nimbuses for defense. I find that this deck defends really well because it does have so much kind of combo power. I know it looks like a lot of multicolor cards, but most of these cards you can combo with without paying energy. One other thing I was going to mention that I forgot is this card can actually be played for 2 if you're in a kind of bind. He has deflect. When you play him, you get to look at the top 10 and play this guy from the top of your deck, from the top 10 with his skills negated. So then you can pass turn and your opponent has to KO cards, because that happens at the start of their turn. Anyway, very cool deck. I hope that wasn't too long-winded. And yes, you can hear my voice is still fucked up. I am trying to get over this cold. I'm sorry the videos aren't coming out as often as they should be, but hopefully that'll be rectified soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the gameplay in the description. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting, guys. If you want to help support further, jump in the link in the description below to palmsoffgaming.com.au. Look for your grading needs, for your folders, for your binders, and put the code Cybermen in the checkout. It helps me out. It helps you out. You'll get 10% off. Really, really awesome. Thanks for watching again, guys, and enjoy.